Some people accumulate wealth while others, even after years of hard work, remain stagnant. The difference isn't just in how much they earn, but in how they think and act about money. Many make simple mistakes that drain their finances and, without realizing it, sabotage their own future. Millionaires follow clear patterns that set them apart from ordinary people. It's not luck or inheritance, but a set of choices and strategies anyone can apply. In this video, the essential principle that can completely transform your financial life will be revealed. Once you learn it, your perception of wealth will never be the same. It all starts with valuing every resource and making decisions that multiply results over time. Here, you'll discover what almost no one teaches about generating real wealth. Subscribe to the channel and gain access to knowledge capable of changing your financial destiny. The wealthy don't think about money the same way most people do. While the average person sees a paycheck and immediately thinks about what they can buy this weekend, millionaires are already planning 5, 10, even 20 years ahead. They've trained their minds to see every dollar as a seed that could grow into something much bigger. This isn't just about being disciplined, it's about rewiring how your brain processes financial decisions. Consider Warren Buffett, who's been known to drive the same modest car for decades while building an empire worth billions. He understands that the car he doesn't buy today could become the investment that funds his retirement tomorrow. Rich individuals have mastered the art of delayed gratification, not because they're naturally more patient, but because they've learned to see the true cost of immediate pleasures. They realize that wealth isn't about having money to spend, it's about having money that works for them. Most people get caught in what experts call the instant gratification trap. They'll finance a new phone, lease a fancy car, or splurge on designer clothes because it feels good right now. But here's the thing millionaires know that others don't. Every financial decision is either moving you closer to wealth or further away from it. There's no neutral ground when it comes to money. The mindset shift happens when you start asking yourself, will this purchase make me richer or poorer in 5 years? Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, and millionaires treat it like their secret weapon. They don't wait until they have enough money to start investing. They begin with whatever they have, even if it's just $50 a month. The magic isn't in the amount you start with, it's in the time you give your money to grow. Rich people understand that starting at 25 with small amounts beats starting at 40 with larger ones every single time. Take Sarah, a teacher who started investing $200 monthly in low-cost index funds at age 22. By the time she retired, her modest salary had grown into a 7-figure portfolio. Meanwhile, her colleague who waited until 35 to start investing twice as much never caught up. This is because millionaires know something most people don't. Compound interest rewards time more than it rewards money. They'd rather invest consistently in boring, reliable assets than chase get-rich-quick schemes that promise overnight wealth. The wealthy make investing automatic, not optional. They set up systems where money flows into their investment accounts before they even see it in their checking account. Companies like Vanguard and Fidelity offer index funds with fees so low they're practically free, yet most people never take advantage of them. While ordinary folks debate whether the market is too high or too low, millionaires keep buying because they know that time in the market beats timing the market every time. Here's where most people get it completely backwards. They think wealth means being able to afford expensive things, but millionaires think the opposite. They obsess over the difference between assets and liabilities, and this simple distinction shapes every purchase they make. An asset puts money in your pocket over time, while a liability takes money out. Rich people buy assets first, then use the income from those assets to buy the things they want. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad illustrates this perfectly with the house example. Most people think their home is their biggest asset, but millionaires know it's often their biggest liability. It requires constant payments for taxes, insurance, maintenance, and mortgage interest. Meanwhile, they're quietly buying rental properties, dividend-paying stocks, or small businesses that generate monthly cash flow. They understand that money flows toward assets, not away from them. The average person buys a car that loses value the moment they drive it off the lot, then wonders why they never get ahead financially. Wealthy individuals either buy reliable used vehicles with cash or lease luxury cars through their businesses for tax advantages. They're not cheap, they're strategic about where their money goes. Every dollar spent on a liability is a dollar that can't be invested in an asset, and millionaires never forget this fundamental truth. Most people think budgeting is about restriction, but millionaires see it as their roadmap to wealth. They don't budget to limit their spending, they budget to maximize their investing. Every successful wealthy person can tell you exactly where their money goes each month, not because they're obsessive, but because they understand that you can't manage what you don't measure. They treat their personal finances like a business, with clear income statements and careful expense tracking. The difference is in the details and the tools they use. While average earners might check their bank balance once a week, millionaires use apps like Mint, YNAB, You Need a Budget, or Personal Capital to track every transaction automatically. They categorize expenses, set specific limits for discretionary spending, and most importantly, they pay themselves first by allocating money to investments before anything else. Their budgets aren't about surviving paycheck to paycheck, they're about accelerating their journey to financial independence. Rich people also understand the 50-30-20 rule, but flip it to favor wealth building. Instead of the typical breakdown that most financial advisors suggest, they aim for 50% needs, 20% wants, and 30% savings and investments. Some even push that investment percentage higher, living well below their means while their money compounds. They've learned that temporary lifestyle sacrifices lead to permanent financial freedom, and their budgets reflect this priority. Not all debt is created equal, and this is where millionaires separate themselves from everyone else. While most people fear debt entirely or accumulate it carelessly, wealthy individuals have learned to use debt as a tool to build wealth faster. They understand the crucial difference between good debt and bad debt, and they structure their finances to eliminate the bad while strategically using the good. It's not about avoiding debt, it's about making debt work for you instead of against you. Good debt helps you acquire assets that appreciate or generate income over time. Think mortgages on rental properties, business loans that fund profitable ventures, or even student loans for high-return education. Rich people will take on a mortgage at 3% interest to buy real estate that appreciates at 5% annually, pocketing the difference. They'll use business credit lines to purchase inventory or equipment that generates more revenue than the interest costs. Meanwhile, they aggressively pay down bad debt like credit cards, personal loans, and car financing that drain their wealth with high interest rates and no tax benefits. The wealthy also understand leverage ratios and never overextend themselves, even with good debt. They maintain emergency funds, keep debt-to-income ratios conservative, and always have multiple exit strategies. Companies like Lending Club or SoFi offer debt consolidation at lower rates, but millionaires rarely need these services because they've structured their debt portfolio from the beginning. They sleep well at night knowing their debt is working to make them money, not costing them their future. Here's a startling statistic. The average millionaire has 7 different sources of income. While most people rely entirely on their job for money, wealthy individuals treat employment as just one piece of a much larger puzzle. They understand that depending on a single income source, no matter how good it pays, is like building a house on one pillar. Eventually, something's going to give. Rich people don't just earn more, they earn from more places. These income streams don't happen overnight, but they're built systematically over time. A software engineer might start a YouTube channel teaching coding, then create online courses, launch a SaaS product, invest in dividend stocks, and buy rental properties. Each stream starts small, but compound growth and reinvestment turn them into significant contributors. The key is that millionaires view every skill, hobby, and interest as a potential income opportunity. They're always asking themselves, how can I monetize this knowledge or turn this passion into profit? The beauty of multiple income streams is resilience and acceleration. When one source slows down, others pick up the slack. When all streams are flowing, wealth accumulates faster than most people think possible. Platforms like Teachable for courses, Etsy for crafts, Amazon for publishing, or Airbnb for property rental make it easier than ever to diversify income. Millionaires don't see these as side hustles, they see them as building blocks of financial independence. Most people treat failure like a disease to be avoided at all costs, but millionaires treat it like tuition for the University of Wealth Building. They don't take reckless risks, but they're not afraid of calculated ones either. The difference is in how they approach uncertainty. While average earners play it safe and stay comfortable, rich individuals understand that the biggest risk is not taking any risks at all. They've learned that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a stepping stone to it. Consider the story of Sarah Blakely, who started Spanx with $5,000 and faced rejection after rejection from manufacturers and retailers. Instead of giving up, she treated each no as valuable market research and refined her approach. Millionaires don't fear failure because they've reframed what failure means. It's not a permanent condition, it's temporary feedback. They fail fast, fail cheap, and fail forward, always extracting lessons that make their next attempt more likely to succeed. The wealthy also understand that playing it safe is often the riskiest strategy of all. Keeping money in savings, accounts that barely beat inflation, is a guaranteed way to lose purchasing power over time. Starting a business, investing in growth stocks, or learning new skills might feel risky, but millionaires know that not doing these things is the real gamble. They've discovered that fortune truly does favor the bold, but only when that boldness is backed by preparation, research, and the willingness to learn from mistakes. There's an old saying that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and millionaires take this seriously. They don't network to collect business cards, they build genuine relationships with people who challenge them, inspire them, and open doors they didn't even know existed. Rich people understand that opportunities often come through people, not job boards or classified ads. They invest time in relationships the same way they invest money in assets, knowing that both compound over time. The wealthy actively seek out mentors who have already achieved what they want to accomplish. They join masterminds, attend industry conferences, and participate in high-level communities where successful people gather. Organizations like Young Entrepreneur Organization, YEO, or industry-specific groups provide access to knowledge and connections that can't be found anywhere else. But here's what sets millionaires apart. They don't just take from these relationships, they give generously first, offering value before asking for anything in return. Most people surround themselves with others who share their limitations and fears, creating echo chambers that reinforce mediocrity. Millionaires deliberately seek out people who earn more, know more, and dream bigger than they do. They're comfortable being the least wealthy person in the room because they know that discomfort leads to growth. They understand that iron sharpens iron, and surrounding yourself with successful people doesn't just expand your network, it expands your vision of what's possible for your own wealth. The marshmallow test from Stanford University revealed something profound about human nature. Children who could resist eating one marshmallow to get 2 later were more successful throughout their lives. Millionaires are essentially adults who mastered this lesson and applied it to every aspect of their financial lives. They've trained themselves to see beyond the immediate pleasure of spending and focus on the long-term joy of financial freedom. This isn't about living like a monk, it's about being strategic with when and how you enjoy the fruits of your labor. While most people finance their desires and pay interest, wealthy individuals save for what they want and earn interest instead. They'll drive their paid-off Honda for an extra 2 years to avoid a car payment, then use that money to buy dividend stocks that pay them monthly. They'll pack lunch instead of eating out, then invest the difference in index funds. Rich people have learned that every small sacrifice today becomes a larger reward tomorrow, and they've made this trade-off automatic in their daily decisions. The beautiful irony is that delayed gratification eventually leads to unlimited gratification. When your investments generate enough passive income to cover your expenses, you can have anything you want without sacrificing your future. Millionaires understand that the temporary discomfort of saying no to immediate wants pales in comparison to the permanent pleasure of saying yes to financial independence. They've discovered that wealth isn't about having enough money to buy everything. It's about having enough money that you don't need to buy everything to be happy. Warren Buffett spends 80% of his day reading, and he's not alone among the wealthy. Millionaires treat their minds like their most important asset, constantly feeding them new information, skills, and perspectives. While the average person stops learning after formal education ends, rich people understand that their earning potential is directly tied to their learning potential. They don't just consume entertainment, they consume knowledge that can be transformed into wealth. The wealthy are strategic about what they learn, focusing on skills that have the highest return on investment. They'll spend $2,000 on a marketing course that could generate $50,000 in additional revenue, or invest time reading books like The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham or The Lean Startup by Eric Ries that reshape their approach to money and business. They attend seminars, hire coaches, and join mastermind groups not as expenses, but as investments in their future earning capacity. Platforms like Coursera, Udemy, or Masterclass make high-quality education accessible to anyone willing to invest the time. Rich people also understand that knowledge without action is worthless, so they implement what they learn immediately. They don't just read about real estate investing, they buy their first rental property. They don't just study the stock market, they open a brokerage account and start building a portfolio. Millionaires know that the combination of continuous learning and consistent action creates a compound effect that accelerates wealth building beyond what most people think is possible. Now you know the secrets that separate millionaires from everyone else. But here's the thing, knowledge without action is just entertainment. Every principle you've learned today is useless unless you actually apply it to your life. The question isn't whether these strategies work. They've been proven by thousands of wealthy individuals over decades. The real question is, what are you going to do with this information? Are you going to keep living paycheck to paycheck, making the same financial mistakes that keep you trapped in mediocrity? Or are you ready to make the uncomfortable changes that lead to extraordinary wealth? The millionaires you admire didn't get there by accident. They followed the exact principles you just learned. They started where you are right now, with the same doubts, the same fears, and the same excuses you might be making. Your financial destiny isn't determined by how much you earn today, it's determined by the decisions you make today. Which principle will you implement first? Will you automate your investments this week? Start tracking every dollar you spend. Begin building your second income stream. The wealthy don't wait for permission or perfect conditions. They start where they are with what they have, and they start now. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the strategies that could transform your financial life. Your future wealthy self is counting on the actions you take today. Don't let them down.